Hi guys, welcome back to Stitching with Samantha. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to stitch florals. Specifically on this little beanie, I'm using a stick and stitch beanie pattern from my Etsy shop, Stitching with Samantha, but the florals I'm showing you today can be used on a variety of embroidery projects. When stitching greenery, we're going to start with the stem. Here I'm doing back stitch for the stem. So I'm going to bring my needle and thread up and then bring it back down at the start of the stem. Next I'm going to skip ahead, bring my needle and thread up, and then I'm going to bring it back down where my first stitch started. This is why we call it back stitch, because we're going back to our previous stitch. Continue doing this for the entirety of the stem. Bring your needle up and then back down at your previous stitch, and then pull it tight. For the leaves, we are going to do a leaf stitch, but the leaves on this are so small that it's going to end up being about 2 straight stitches. So we're going to bring our needle and thread up, and we're going to bring it back down at the end of our stem. This is going to be a straight stitch. Then we're going to go beside that one, almost next to the point. We're going to bring our needle and thread up and then bring it back down again at the end of the stem. If this were a true leaf stitch, we would continue going down the leaf, but because these leaves are so small, all we need is about 2 straight stitches to fill up the leaves. So you're going to continue this process, doing 2 straight stitches for each leaf, working your way down the greenery. When you're done stitching the greenery, you're going to bring your needle and thread to the back of the hat and tie off, and that is how you stitch greenery. Daisies are typically stitched with lazy daisy stitch, so to do a lazy daisy stitch, we are going to bring our needle and thread up and then back down in the same point. Pull it tight but leave a little loop, and then we are going to bring our needle up in the middle of the loop. So as you can see, we're bringing our needle up at the end of the petal, bring it up through the loop, pull it tight, and it's going to catch. In order to lock this loop down, we are going to bring our needle on the outside of the loop and make a teeny tiny straight stitch to hold it in place. So we're going to do this again, bring our needle and thread up, back down the same exact point, bring our needle up at the end of the petal and come up through the loop, pull it tight, and then bring your needle on the outside to make a straight stitch to hold it down. Next, we're going to make a French knot in the middle of the flower. So to do a French knot, we're going to take our needle up through the middle of the flower, then we are going to wrap the thread around our needle 2 times. Then with your right finger, or if you're left-handed, your left finger, you're going to hold it while you place the tip back in the middle of the flower. Then you're going to see when you do that, it becomes loose. So with your other hand, you're going to hold it tight while you then take your needle to the back of the fabric. This holds it in place, and then you have a nice little French knot. To stitch a rose, we are going to do woven wheel stitch. You are going to make 5 different straight stitches for the spokes of the wheel. So you're going to bring your needle up and back down to make a straight stitch for each line. Each time you bring your needle up and back down in the center of the circle. Once you have laid down all your straight stitches, you are going to bring your needle up a little bit to the right of the center, and then we are going to start bringing our needle through each spoke, alternating each time. So I'm skipping over the first one, bringing my needle through the second spoke, then I'm going to skip again and bring it through the next one, skip again, bring it through the next one. You're going to keep doing this. Every time you're going to skip over and go underneath the next one. Try your best to alternate each time and not skip over 2 spokes, because then your thread can become loose. Once you feel like you've covered the whole rose and it has a full look, you're going to bring your needle down on the outside of the rose, and this will lock everything in place. Now I'm going to show you a different way to do leaves. I'm still doing a backstitch stem here, but then once I get to the leaf, I'm going to do a different stitch. I'm going to do lazy daisy like I did on the daisies. So you're going to bring your needle and thread all the way up and back down at the same exact point that you entered. And remember, we are going to pull it so that there's a little loop, and we're going to bring our needle up at the end of the leaf. We're going to bring our needle and thread up through the loop so that it catches, and then we're going to bring our needle on the outside of that loop and pull it all the way down, and that's going to lock it in place. You're going to repeat this for each leaf of this branch. When doing floral embroidery projects, you can do the same stitch for all of your leaves, but I find it helpful to do different stitches for different leaves to give it a more like 3D look and to provide more texture. Remember when you're doing a lazy daisy stitch to bring your needle on the outside of the loop to lock it in place. We're going to stitch one more leaf here, bring our needle up, back down in the same place. Then we are going to leave a little loop, bring our needle up at the end of the leaf, pull it tight, and then lock it into place. Another common flower in embroidery projects is a half daisy, so instead of the full daisy, it's just half of it. So we're going to do the same thing with the daisy stitch that I just talked about. We're going to do lazy daisy, and we're going to make a loop, lock it in place. We're going to do this for each petal of the flower, and when I come to the center of the flower, on this one I'm not doing a French knot, I'm going to do a slightly different stitch. So I'll come back when we get to that part. So for the middle of this flower, I'm not going to do a French knot, but instead I'm going to do small straight stitches. So I'm going to bring my needle up and then back down a little bit of ways. And then I'm going to do this 3 different times, making 3 small straight stitches, just so it has that 3D look. And this just gives a different look than the French knot and just provides, once again, different texture for all the different flowers. I hope you enjoyed these tutorials. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and let me know what you want to see next.